Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mr. Ocean here, and today I wanted to talk about W engines in zenlesszonezero. So I'm just going to be covering everything when it comes to W engines, how you obtain them, how they work, exactly what do you have to do to precisely, everything when it comes to nook and crannies about W engines. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more content later in the future about zenlesszonezero. So without further ado, let's just get started. So what to point out is, what are W engines? W engines are essentially your weapons in zenlesszonezero. Unlike other Hoyo games like Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact, those weapons are able to be distinguishably recognizable as to which character they're going to fall for because they have their certain looks and certain types. Unlike Genshin, they have like polearms, claymores, and all that. In zenlesszonezero, they're specifically looking the same. They look exactly the same. There's not really variation and differences, only by the look of it, but they're overall relatively the same. So the thing you have to look for is what character type it falls under. And if you guys want to know the character types, I have my last video talking about your damage overalling zenlesszonezero, which I mentioned it in there. So if you want to check it out, make sure to hit it in the top right corner right here on top of the screen. But essentially the weapons are the same, and you have to look and inspect it to see which character it falls under within that character type. And as well, you can level up your weapons using energy modules, which essentially will level up your weapon overall when you need to increase your damage or increase it overall as you get further and further into the game. Another thing is, when you're modifying your W engines, you need to have certain components. So like I said before, each weapon is set to a specific type of character, specifically its archetype. So with that, you need to have the right components in order to ascend it, in order to keep leveling it overall. So say for instance, I reach level 10, reach level 30, I need to ascend them in order to do 20 to 30 in order to keep increasing it. So you need to have the exact components depending on that type of weapon that it's for. And so like I said before, these weapons are tied to a certain character type. And just to kind of clarify, to refresh you, the character types are attack, support, stun, anomaly, and defense. And with these, they're specifically tied towards that character. And the reason why with that is because they will apply a W engine effect, and it will only work on those characters that are of that archetype. And so essentially your W engine effect, they're all variety and they're all different. Some will help with your energy recharge, some will help you with your certain amount of damage that has a certain amount of time. So mostly the W engine effects will be based off of percentage or based off of time, or based off of flat number scale. And to add on with that, when you have multiple W engines of the same type, you can essentially infuse all the others into that one W engine, which will essentially increase the value of your W engine effect. And so any number that you see in green will essentially increase its value higher and higher, but you can only infuse up to 5. So it can be infused of 5 stars that you can see. It could just be stacked up to that many times. You can't do it like infinite amount. It's only set to being maxed out at 5. So in talking about that, how do you obtain W engines? So essentially one way you can obtain W engines is by using the stable channels. Stable channels is essentially where you roll, and you can get it in any type. It can be in the limited time banner, the weapon banner, the standard banner, and also the bamboo banner. They can all be obtained by there, but the only difference is in the bamboo banner, you can only obtain B rank W engines, as to the other ones you can obtain to A rank and S rank. And so with that, that's one of your ways of obtaining W engines over time at a large quantity amount, because the other way is a little bit slower and also kind of only used for higher level W engines. And speaking of that, another way of obtaining W engines is by going to the box gallery gadget store. And by going to the gadget store, you can essentially make and buy W engines that are of B rank and of A rank. So when it comes to A rank W engines, you can essentially buy them using engine credits, which I believe takes 1 engine credit in order to craft a B rank W engine. And so when it comes to A rank W engines, they will take 6 W engine chips and weapon components of that specific weapon type, like I talked about earlier when it comes to leveling up and ascending that W engine. So also what you can do is you can recycle your W engines, which mostly shouldn't be the case unless you need lower level XP, which I would recommend only doing B rank W engines. So when it comes to recycling, you can essentially recycle your W engine and get weapon XP and W engine chips. So with B rank weapons, you can only get the lowest tier of weapon XP. And for A rank W engines, you can essentially get W engine chips and weapon XP that's of close to the highest tier, but it's just right one underneath that. And say for instance, for example, that you don't know or you have a certain weapon that you want to get, there's the database. And with the database, you can see the information on that weapon when it comes to its stats, its passives, and its W engine effects beforehand, before you get it, so you can see which characters that you want to work for or what characters you need to build in order once you get that weapon. And with the weapons that you don't have, you can see what the maximum stats would be when it comes to that. So there's a little button on the top right next to the level. If you click that, you can essentially just see what would it be like when it's at max level. And kind of as a last tip and note for you guys, if you guys don't know this, it seems as if the W engines have their specific style and look to it that corresponds to the characters that are in this game so far in 1.0. And so essentially, if you just look at the W engines overall, you can kind of tell who these W engines are for, and specifically for the 4 stars and for the 5 stars. You can drastically see what they're for, and overall, once you collect them all, you can roughly see who they're for. And since it's also tied by that specific character type, it'll make it easier to know who exactly that's for. And so I hope that was helpful to you guys of understanding what W engines are, how they work, and everything overall about W engines. And so if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. And if you guys want more content that's helpful about intricate things about zenlesszonezero, make sure to leave a comment down below and just let me know what things you guys want to know or what things that you're not informed of as much. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I will talk to you guys later.